Tampa Bay Bucks and the Dallas Cowboys. The Bucks sitting as 2.5-point favorites right now on the road at the Cowboys. 50.5 is your total across the board. One rogue, 51 available out there. So what do we know heading into this one? And Adam, I'm going to ask you, because you do have a play on this one, if these things went into the reason you pulled the trigger, or if this was something that you were going towards anyway. We know the Cowboys acquired James Washington. He goes down in training camp. He's not going to be able to play for them for a while. Michael Gallup, even though he is making strides, does not look like he's going to be back out there in week one either. Tyron Smith goes down for this offensive line. We know that's massive splits whenever he is not out there. And now all of a sudden, they say with an abundance of caution, but Dak Prescott is limited in practice, basically only did work on the side because of some sort of something going on with that surgically repaired foot of his. They were saying that the new cleats he wore were agitating him, but again, I'm not trying to read between the lines. I'm just going to report what is being reported. So you do have this Cowboys team that has all of this stuff that is kind of going against them, whereas the news coming out of the Bucs side of things tends to be a little bit more optimistic. You have Chris Godwin, who has now practiced for consecutive days and might actually play. He's a game-time decision. We thought Godwin was going to be gone the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and now he's become a game-time decision for this Bucs squad. And, of course, they go out and sign Julio Jones, which, to me, Julio's probably just going to fill the Gronk role, right? I mean, just kind of go and be a big-body dude, sit down over the middle, be your red zone target, different stuff like that. So what eventually led you to the Bucs side at 2.5?
This is 100% a fate of Dallas. And I know how chalky the Buccaneers are at less than a field goal this week. It's been one of the most cash and tickets heavy game for the books on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am down on Dallas. I am so far down on Dallas, you're going to have trouble seeing me down there. It is a team that I do not understand why anyone would be in other than Dak Prescott, period. And I'm going to go to the defensive side first, because one thing that I tend to fade is how a defense performed last year. Look at Dallas. Before Micah Parsons arrived, this was a defense that we were talking about as the reason the Cowboys would not win games. Then Micah Parsons got there, and all of a sudden Dallas is a top 10 defense last year. Well, what's probably the reality for this team? Somewhere in the middle. And if this defense isn't going to create massive amounts of turnovers, and really, isn't that where we got what we were looking at with this team last year, was the turnovers? Was Diggs having this insane number of turnovers that didn't match up with his PFF grade for his coverage? Micah Parsons getting to the quarterback? All of these things make me look at this team and go back to what you just said on the offensive side of the ball now, Matt. They have CeeDee Lamb, and they have CeeDee Lamb. And then they have CeeDee Lamb, and that's it. Then you mentioned the Tyron Smith thing. That is something that is well documented in terms of Dak Prescott. Now, on the other side with Tampa Bay, what's the major concern? It's the offensive line. I get it. They're beaten up. They had free agent defections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If there is one quarterback in football who I trust to be able to work around it, who already was a guy who got rid of the ball faster than just about anybody in the NFL, who has been getting rid of the ball faster than anybody in the NFL for many years now, it's Tom Brady. So less than a field goal to back what I think is a clearly superior Tampa Bay team. I don't care where we're playing the game, I'll take it.
Yeah, Steven, for me, the play for me here is, with this being an island game on Sunday night, I am looking for the public to do me a solid and come in and bet the over. And if this thing gets over 51, I'm going to come in on the under, because one thing that we have heard is the Cowboys, because they have no depth at the wide receiver position as we sit right now, that they're going to utilize having the two backs and having Zeke and having Pollard and try to run the ball a whole lot more and maybe play keep away from the Bucs in this thing. And so if I can get a 51.5, or if the gods all descend here and I can get a 52, even better, I am going to come in on the under in this one, because I think the Cowboys, I think their best shot actually is probably trying to play keep away, probably trying to run the ball a little bit more and keep Tom Brady in what is going to be, at least in week one here, a very superior offense off the field.
Please, Dallas, keep telling me you are going to run Zeke and run the ball. It is music to my ears because I am with Adam here. I have taken the Bucs to cover less than a field goal, and I think we could see this touch 3. We'll see as we record Friday morning. There is at least one book that's moved the -2.5 price to -115. So we'll see if more money comes in and we actually get to that key number. So if you like the Bucs, I would make sure you would go get it as soon as possible to capture that 2.5. But let's not forget, when these two teams played a year ago, the Bucs were 9-point favorites in the game. So on a neutral field, the market told us that this is a 7-point advantage between these teams. And now we flip stadiums and it's less than a field goal for the Bucs. Like, unless you think Dallas has a 4.5-point home field advantage, which let me tell you, they do not. Nobody even has a 3-point advantage, seems to be the consensus around the market these days. So this line is short for me. I am very happy to take the Buccaneers at -1.5. And if you look at the changes in Dallas, it's not just CeeDee Lamb. It's the fact that the coaching malpractice, if you haven't heard our Dallas preview video from before, they were telegraphing run pass based on formation more than anybody else in the NFL last year. They won't play Tony Pollard, the superior running back and the pass catcher, or otherwise they actually would have an additional weapon they could rely on other than CeeDee Lamb. And, oh, by the way, they lost Tyron Smith, and Dak Prescott's splits with and without his left tackle are very stark. So I think all of this lines up for Tampa Bay to be in a much better situation. I can't believe that this number is not 3.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Noah Brown and Jalen Tolbert is your second and third options at wide receiver while they deal with all these injuries. So, again, going to be tough, in my opinion, to move the ball. I still think that Bucs defense is pretty solid. So definitely give me the Bucs, but I'm certainly going to be looking for an underplay on this one as we get into Sunday evening.